For my project, I researched the Quaker involvement in the abolitionist movement. As most of us know, the Quakers were early advocates of freeing slaves. What I learned through my research is that there were varying levels of support from the Quaker communities, and this support really did evolve over time. The Quakers, or Religious Society of Friends, played a crucial role in the abolitionist movement. Their faith, which was rooted in simplicity, peace, integrity, community, and equality, led them to be in opposition of slavery in most cases. Early opposition was demonstrated by the Quakers, such as the Germantown Protest of 1688 and the 1771 publication of a book titled Some Historical Account of Guinea by a Quaker named Anthony Benezet, who sought really to change the image of African people and tried to demonstrate for people the similarities between African villages and the towns in the American colonies. It was not uncommon for Quakers at this time to own slaves in the colonies before and just after the American Revolution, and early attempts by some to bring focus to their conflict of what their doctrine said and the views on slavery were met by resistance by many of these Quakers. George Fox, who was the Quaker founder, he did not outright condemn slavery, but he promoted fair treatment of African slaves and called on his fellow Quakers to educate the slaves as they were also children of God. Fox felt that slaves became members of the families that owned them, and he placed the responsibility of protecting the slaves on the owner. The Quaker role in the abolitionist movement is most times in our reading represented by members of the Quaker Society such as Levi Coffin and Thomas Garrett, who really played pivotal roles in not only helping slaves escape, but eventually pushing for reforms that would emancipate the rest of them. Their work, such as The Liberator and Coffin's own autobiography, which he titled Reminiscence of Levi Coffin, the reputed president of the Underground Railroad, are well known, and they really provide a first-hand account of the dangers that were involved with freeing slaves. These primary sources also present another side to the Quaker Society. There was an internal conflict by many that saw an activist role as opposite of what their doctrine called for. Many friends at this time were very anti-political, and they felt that slavery was a political issue. The dangerous nature of freeing slaves also challenged their beliefs in maintaining a peaceful society, a peaceful environment. Articles that were published in The Liberator described the missions by leading activist Quakers. It describes their missions really to convince other Quakers to take an active role in ending slavery, to bring them on board with the abolitionist movement. They suggested that these Quakers had fallen away from the teachings of George Fox and really urged them to look at their doctrine and take up the anti-slavery cause. Quakers at some of these meetings were not welcoming to this message, and they became very angry, in some cases physically forcing the visitors from their meetings, which is really the opposite of the peaceful nature we usually associate with the Quaker religion. Regardless of the role they played leading up to the Civil War, the Quaker view of slavery definitely evolved over time. The pacifist nature of the Quakers no doubt had a substantial influence on their views of slavery, and they saw the brutality of slavery as a challenge to their ideas, and in some cases led many of them to play a really significant role in the abolitionist movement. My research focused really on the growth of the anti-slavery movement in the Quaker population and the effort by some of the leaders to bring others into that role of activist. Thank you.